And so we're on to section 3 of our blanket, and this, like I was speaking to you in my last video, this is section 2 complete, and section 3 is a broader stripe of granny clusters, and we're going to start by making an outline of treble clusters just like we did here, so that it's just balancing the other side of these squares with the treble clusters, and I'm using the same colour that I used to outline before we did the squares, and I think that will just be a balance, and then we can move on from there. What I want to do is turn my blanket over to its reverse side and attach the pale or the lighter green yarn in any corner. Chain 2, which is the equivalent of the first treble stitch, and 2 trebles in the corner, 1, 2. And that's all there is. We just need to go along to the next space along and put in 3 trebles, 1, 2, 3. And oops, let's get rid of that ball. 3 trebles in the next space, 1, 2, 3. And then we're at the first join between the squares. So between each join there's 2 clusters of 3 trebles. And then when you get to the corner, and simply treble 3 in the gap between the squares, like that, and then move on. And it looks like that, and then continue. And into the next space. So that's the 2 before the corner, and then right over to the next corner for 3 trebles in the gap between the squares. So continue. So that's on to the next corner and straight into the middle with my 3 trebles. Now let's have a look at what that looks like. Now I think mine is going to be a fractionally bumpier than yours, because you can see how straight that is at that point, because I put these extra 2 chains in. So I'm glad I spotted that, and you will have no problems as you go along. Work all around all 4 sides, and in the corner it's treble 3, chain 2, treble 3 as usual, and I'll see you back here when it's time to start the next round. Here we are at the end, and we've just got the first and last corner to complete. So there's 3 trebles into that corner, chain 2 and slip stitch as usual. So that is round 1 of section 3 complete, and because we had 2 rounds of this light green on this side of the squares, I think we'll do the same thing on the outside. So we're going to just flip the blanket over and do another round of trebles in the same colour. Now disregard my ends. That's my next job, is to sew these ends in. But as you've done before, you'll see that your chain 2 appears on the extreme right of the previous corner space. We've got 1, 2, and the first chain 2, which was the cluster of 3 on this side, and the cluster of 3 on that side, the chain space in the middle. And because our chain 2 space is on the right of that, I'm going to make a complete corner. So that's treble 2, because we've done the chain 2 for the new corner, and treble 3 in the corner. And that's us off again. Now this will be a much more straightforward round, because there's our first corner, because we've coped with the joins between the squares. So now it's just straight along with 3 trebles in each of the spaces between the treble clusters of the last round. I'll be back in just a second to tell you the cluster count, and then I'll just complete this round 2. So the count for round 1 is 34 clusters from one corner to the next corner, so that's 34 along one side. So the next round will be 35 along one side, and we've turned over, so we're on the front of the blanket once more. So I'll see you when I get to this point. After round 2 in the pale green, your blanket should be looking like this, and I'm pleased to say that all my tails are neatly sewn in. Now you're looking at the moment at the front of the blanket. Of course, the join as you go is on the front. The little ridge is showing on the front, and to be doubly sure, my stitch marker is in the middle there, which I can check on if I am unsure. Now on to the next part, and this is we're going to start a bit with a little bit of a feature of a holly shape in it. But first of all, we're going to move away from this pale green and just do another round of treble clusters, but this time in the very pale silver. And as I said, the blanket was on the front, but we're going to just swing it over so that it's on its reverse. And I don't even need to do this, because the pale silver is just a carbon copy of the last round. So it's chain 2, treble 2 in the corner, treble 3 in every space along, and all the way round, treble 3, chain 2, treble 3 in each of the corners. So once that's done, I'll be back to start the holly part.